I would say if it's a great deal, go to that house. If you cannot afford that house, write that offer. Write an offer on a great place and then let us know and we will help you figure out how to fund it.
Without Fear of Her Future podcast is for women who are passionately pursuing financial freedom, using multiple streams of income and real estate to accomplish their goals. We are here to empower you to be brave, dream big, and design a life that you love that inspires others to do the same. I'm your co-host, Andrea Engstrom, a real estate investor and business coach and co-founder of the Partnership for Realtors. And I'm here with my co-host, Tresa Todd, founder of the Women's Real Estate Investors Network and author of the best-selling book, Without Fear of Her Future. Over the past 2 years, Tresa has had nearly 200,000 join her masterclass where she teaches women how to become successful real estate investors.
Well, Andrea, I am super excited about our guest today. Marci, when she began as a real estate investor, her very first calls were to the successful men that she knew. And within one short year of investing, she has been able to create $4.8 million in equity by acquiring rentals and $1.2 million in actual profit from her flips. So she is, so she is going to be sharing with us today how she has leveraged the old boys club to get where she is.
I love it. Well, let's welcome Marci.
Hello.
Hey,
Hi,
Marci.
Welcome, Marci. You are our MVP from the Women's Real Estate Investors Network. It was so exciting to see you on stage at WREIN Live. And I was so excited to be able to reach out and say, let's get her on the show. So Marci, tell us about yourself. Where do you live and where do you primarily invest?
Wonderful. It was, it's been an amazing week. And that was just such an amazing event. I just loved so much about it. So honored to be here today. So thank you so much. And I live in Laguna Beach, California. And that is where I primarily focus in 3 areas, Laguna Beach, Palm Springs, and now my newest place is New Orleans.
Awesome. Well, I'm so excited for today's show because there's so many women that I've spoken to who are in expensive markets and they use that as a reason why they can't be successful. So we're so excited to hear about how you have done this. So before we go too much farther, tell us about what your portfolio looks like today. How many properties do you own and what kind of deals are they? Are they rentals or, flips? What are you doing?
Okay, great. So right now, as of today, for those of you that were at the event last week, I closed one last Friday. So, and I'm closing one today. So we have 5 right now. I have 5 right now and 2 in escrow. So the 5 that I have 1 long-term rental, 2 short-term rentals, and 2 flips going right now. And then the 2 in escrow, I have 2 boys that attend Tulane University. So I've decided because the housing was so kind of awful around school and all of my friends and other parents were just beside themselves trying to figure out what to do. So I decided that that's going to be an area that I invest in to do student housing, long-term rentals. So I'm in escrow on 2 right now. 1 is closing next Thursday and 1's closing June 20th.
Wow, that's incredible. So incredible. Marci, I just want to say how proud I am of you. I am just blown away at your success. And I would love to know, what in the world were you doing before you became a real estate investor?
Yes. So I did have my real estate license for the past 4 or 5 years. And I was lucky enough to actually join the team of a good friend of mine who's the #1 agent for Coldwell Banker in California, which is Tim Smith and his amazing group. And they're just incredible. But that was not ever something that I felt that was really my true calling. But I did, the good thing was that I did have a bit more background and that I understand about transactions and escrows and lenders and those types of things. But none of that prepared me the way that this program did. None of it. I mean, I could have never done any of this just knowing that before. So I think I told Andrea on the phone last night, yes, I had some things over the past few years as far as sales and real estate, But in 2020, my income was zero. My tax return says zero in 2020.
Wow.
Yeah. So
Wow.
I haven't finished my 2021 yet, but it's a much bigger number.
It is. It is going to be a bigger number. I am so excited. So what does your day-to-day look like for you right now in your life?
So my day-to-day is, so I love construction. So I do, I know that one thing that we kind of focus on in the course and, as we were learning is figure out the things you want to focus on. Do you want to focus on wholesaling or flipping or rentals? So I love construction so much. My favorite thing in the whole world is putting on big boots and jeans and a t-shirt and going to see my crew, and they're amazing. And so I hit the floor, running at 7:30, get on that construction site. And so even for my rentals, we do a little bit of rehabbing of those as well. And so really the first thing, and this is really important, I think, for everyone to know, is no matter what you're focusing on, you get up and you need to check the new listings, see what's listed, check the new listings, see what's sold, see what's happening in the market that you're working in, see who had price reductions, all that good stuff. So I think it's really important to kind of just scroll through, wherever you can do that early in the morning. And then, and then I get on my job site when I've started to really ramp up my acquisitions. And so I'm buried in a lot of paperwork too with escrows, which is what I was doing right before this. I screeched into this, right? Doing some escrows or closing, because I closed closing one today, like I said, and then one next week. So just focused on everything real estate all day long from morning till night.
And Marci, we met you when you joined the Women's Real Estate Investors Network, that Teresa's mentorship. You and I joined around the same time. Yeah. Tell me, what did you do when you first got started as an investor?
So I was in the March group, and I kept seeing Andrea on Facebook and being jealous of her pretty Facebook page and all the things she was doing, because I was not capable the way she is. But the very first deal that I did was in May. A deal came up that just had been sitting there, had fallen out of escrow, was listed, but it was in Laguna Beach, and you need to know your market. So I know my market. I know my price per square foot in general in Laguna Beach. And at that time, it's higher now, but at that time it was around $1,000 a square foot. And this listing came up, it had fallen out of escrow, and it was like $750 a square foot for like 4 blocks from the beach. And it was this big house that was fully furnished and had an STR license from 2009. And no one gets licenses in California anymore. No one. And this one's grandfathered in, and no one can take it away and all that stuff. So I was like, okay. And do you want me to talk numbers? Because it's public.
Yeah.
So I can just say, so it was listed for 1.8, and I put it into escrow, and people were like, well, it's been, it hasn't sold, or it's been sitting there, so it must not be a good deal. And I was like, no, this is crazy, but okay. So I'm going to buy this thing. And I was looking at the Women's REIN Facebook page too, and my funny post, and so much that I didn't know in my post. Now that I read it, I was like, it was really cute. But anyways, so I raised money to purchase it. So for the down payment. And then I knew, and then literally immediately, as soon as I closed, which was like Memorial Day, that thing has been rented since every night since. So it's on Airbnb. Wow. Well, not every night, but close to it. It's on Airbnb, and I ran some numbers for you guys. Oh shoot, did I just put it upstairs? It's done like over 200,000 in gross revenue in this first 12 months. And it's just a little freight train. It's just a little, it's an amazing, amazing property. So I used a hard money lender for that one. And then as soon as I could, I did a cash out refi on it. So I did the BRRRR strategy that I learned from the course and from Kelton's, the one that he did. And I, as I explained, I was driving down the street in Los Angeles. I remember the exact block when he told us about the non-QM loans and the BRRRR method. And I think I almost hit a tree. Like I almost, I was like, what? This is possible? Like, this is amazing. I always thought, even being a realtor, all those things, I still thought you had to qualify with W-2 and your tax returns and all the things. And so I never thought I'd be able to buy an investment property. So had an amazing hard money lender, did a refi out of it with a conventional lender, and refied it at a 2.6 value and pulled 450,000 out.
Yes.
That is incredible.
I know.
Love it.
Yes.
Yeah.
Love
and
it.
got a lower payment and even more cash flow.
Amazing.
So that was my first deal. So I was
First deal,
pretty
right out the bat.
excited.
Love it.
And
now it's year
Marci,
3, by the way, just so everyone knows. Yeah, but go
awesome.
ahead.
Well, you kind of breezed right through this, because for some people, saying, I'm going to just go get financed for a $1.8 million purchase, that sounds a lot easier just to say it than it is to do it. So, how did you find the lender? And you said you raised a little capital. Like what exactly did you do to be able to set yourself up for that?
So when I was doing this course and just trying to learn all the things, I decided that I was going to go. Orange County is a very real estate investor heavy, developer heavy area. This is where most of the wealth comes from in Orange County. That's kind of our industry. So I have lots of friends, I'm in my 50s. I know lots of successful men. So I decided that I would just ask them all if I could come to their office and interview them and tell them what I was thinking about doing. And honestly, like before, I think I had this little voice in my head, like, you're too old, you're over 50, you can't do this. But then I saw Tresa and she was like my sister. So I'm like, she's got 3 boys. She's my same exact age. She's amazing. And she looks about 25. So we're going to do this. So I just went around and I went to 5 or 6 men that are wildly successful. And they all gave me little nuggets of things that they said that were, how they started and what they do. And they all use non-traditional lending generally. They all, that for sure before they did. And they all gave me just little nuggets of things. And so one of them gave me his lender, and he is an incredibly successful person. And so he said, call my lender and tell her I sent you. And so I did. And so I got a hard money loan for 8% and 0.75 of a point. And basically just because he told me to call her, she was like, great, that sounds good. So
wow.
Awesome.
So that's how we do it. You have to use the power sometimes of other people and your network. And so what I was telling all the women last weekend was I gave all the women so this loan officer is a woman and she loves women in real estate. So I said, and they're a big, very amazing lender up in San Francisco, and they do national loans. And so I just gave her number out to everyone that asked for it. And I said, and you tell her Marci sent you. And then,
I love it. I love it.
If it's your first deal, just tell Marci sent you.
Yes. So we were able to take the connections that you made from the boys network and leverage it. And now you're creating the women's network, the girls network.
Yes,
the old girls club now.
That's right. That's right. And then, I've done 9 loans I think 8 or 9 loans with them this year, so
Amazing.
Now we're a known entity. So we can really, if we're recommending someone, that means a lot to her,
Yes. Yes. So I believe that you said that you have used other people's money on all of your deals.
Yes. On all of my deals. Yes.
So many times I think when people hear that, they don't believe it. They're like, yeah, right. What's the catch? But there is no catch. I mean, we really do use other people's money. And I mean, look at what you have created using other people's money.
Yeah, absolutely. And even I have another friend that on my little interview circuit who was telling me that he has a money partner. It's a $1 billion money partner, but he has a money partner to build all his hotels with. That's what people do.
Yeah, that's exactly right. That's what the wealthy people do. That's what they know that the average person doesn't know. And that's how you build wealth. All the wealthy, that's how they got that way, is by building this. And I won't call any names, but lots of people that we know in the world as very, very successful investors, that's how they built what they have.
Yes.
And
the thing is that we need to remember too, that this is also a gift for those people that are investing with you, because number one, they get, for me personally, I was doing a 10% annual interest balloon payment at the end, but they love, number one, they're getting a lot more interest than they're getting at the bank. Number two, they loved supporting me and watching me grow, through this. And I'm telling you, they won't take the money back. Every time I close a deal, I say, okay, we closed on this one, we closed on that one. And they're like, keep it, just keep it, just do it again. Let me know when the next one closes, so it's so great. It's such a win-win. Yeah.
It is a win-win.
Yes.
Yes.
So we need to remember that when we're asking people, when we're starting out, don't feel badly about asking people. You have to understand that you may be giving them a gift as well.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. I can leave that money in the bank and make 4% or make 10, 12. Yeah.
Yep, exactly.
Absolutely.
Exactly. Yes.
Absolutely. Okay.
Well,
so what is your favorite investing strategy?
Well, that whole burr thing is pretty awesome. Like that whole, I think, what did he call it? An equity grab. So all of a sudden, right? So now I have that same property, because that same property, the first one I mentioned, my new loan amount is 1.9 and it's worth 3. So I have 1.1 million of equity and a house that I got all the cash back out of. And it also cash flows in addition to all of that. Woo! So that's, that's the one that's probably the easy, and that house did not need any work. So that is probably my favorite, but I do, like I said, I love construction too, because of the creative part of it. So that's probably the hardest amount of work, but it's really rewarding. So I like both of those. I have never wholesaled. I don't know how to do that. But if anybody,
I have a feeling you could,
if anybody wants to add me to their list of buyers, I'll be on your buyer list for sure in my areas. Yeah. So those are my favorite. Those are my favorite too, I think, so far.
Marci, so you make it sound so easy, because you did some really smart things when you got started. But tell me about your greatest challenge as a new investor. What's the hard stuff you had to walk through?
I think that the accounting part is challenging. And so I've just finally gotten to a point where I've did tons of research and found a woman who specializes in this. She's a CPA in real estate investing, flipping, and rentals. And so she is going to take me on. She only takes one client a month. So she's going to take me on in June. So I'm really excited about that. Just because it doesn't matter how many zeros are at the end of your transactions. There's just so much that goes on in between. And doing it in spreadsheets or trying to work your way through QuickBooks or whatever is just, I think, challenging, unless that's how your brain works, which is not how mine works. So I think that that like the financing is hard, but what I did is I just listened to a lot of books, audiobooks on investing and on the finance stuff. There's so many YouTube videos. There's so much you can do. And then obviously this course had so much that was really helpful as well.
Awesome. Tell us about where you find your deals. You mentioned where you found your first one, and you said, put me on your buyer's list. But how do you find these deals when others are saying it can't be done? You're making it happen. Where do you find the deals?
So honestly, and like I said, this is why you need to be ready. This is why you need to know your market, so that when something comes on and it's a hot, price per square foot or area or whatever, the streets, what's happening in those areas. So honestly, MLS has not been, and I know we've been in a crazy upward market and all those things, but MLS, I find deals there. I find deals off market from agents, because I know a lot of people now, and people now know that I'm doing this. So people will call me with off market deals. And then just word of mouth, just people who don't want to sell with an agent. So, I'll make friends with everyone on the block on a construction project. And then everyone on the block knows that I will buy their house if they want to sell it. And so I've got a couple of those in the hopper right now too, that I'm working on. So, and then my flip that I just sold back in April, which was another really big transaction, that sold to my next door neighbor, who just loved how it was turning out so much that he just bought it for sale by owner from me. So you can do off-market deals both directions.
That's right.
Yeah,
absolutely. Yes. I just wanted to mention that when you were talking about your other house, the short-term rental, and you were able to refi, you were able to tap into all 5 streams of wealth generation on that one property. That is, I mean, that is fun.
Yes,
It doesn't
so
always
fun.
happen, but it's
Yes,
fun when it
yes,
does.
yes, so fun. And really, I feel like that one was the most minimal amount of work, which is interesting, right?
Yes.
So
It
yeah,
is.
when you can find those,
It
that's
is.
amazing.
Teresa, share for those of us on the who are listening and they're like the 5 streams of what? I need that. Tell us what those 5 things are that you're mentioning that Marci was able to tap into on that deal.
All right. So first of all is monthly cash flow. So she makes money that goes into her pocket every single month. That's monthly cash flow. And so that's the difference between what she has to pay out, because there's cost to owning a short-term rental, but then what her guests pay and what she brings in, that's monthly cash flow. Well, there's also a loan pay down. So every single month she's paying this loan down. And it's actually with somebody else's money. Her guests are paying her loan down. Well, and then there is so many tax benefits that most people do not know of with owning short-term rentals. And she's already talked about, which is brilliant. You need to find someone that is going to make sure that you have full access to all of those tax benefits, because not all CPAs know all of those things. And we want to give Uncle Sam as little as we have to, right? And then there's equity grab. Equity grab is whenever you purchase these properties the way that we teach you. We're not going out there and paying asking or over asking price. We're getting it using a formula. And when you do that, then you have instant equity grab. She got a huge grab out of this. Girl, you're doing it right. So excited for you.
I had the best teacher.
and Marci, you just teased us a little bit a second ago. Would you tell us about your flip that you said is a really profitable deal that you're working on?
Yep. So that one was here in Laguna Beach, and bought it for just under 1.9, and then put a little over 400 into it, and it just closed escrow for $3 million. On April 4th.
Way to go.
And again, with other people's money to fund that. I also when I do these, so that was my very first one, I think, where when I did the hard money loan to buy it, I also included a portion of the construction. So, but you still always need to have some money to fund the construction so that you can get, reimbursed by the bank. But that's also a super important element of it. And that's another reason to use these great hard money loans, because this is what they do. They fund the purchase and the construction. Yep, exactly.
Yep. Mm-hmm. That is the beauty. Yep. Hard money lenders and private money lenders. It's life-changing when you can just, and it's just little secrets that the general public does not know. And, and I know you've probably heard me quote the statistic that most people do one flip and they never do another. I really believe that it comes from all of the HGTV. So many people get excited and it's fun to watch, and they're like, I want to do that. But they didn't have the specialized knowledge. They didn't know how to buy the property the smart way. They didn't know about private money or hard money lenders. They didn't know that you don't pay the contractors before they do, you don't pay until after they do the work. There's so many things, and it ends up being a disaster. You make very little money or you make no money, and then they're done. And I can't tell you how many times I'll hear, oh, that doesn't work. Oh, that doesn't work. I'm like, it works if you know the secrets, but you have to know the secrets.
Yeah, exactly.
Yes.
So true.
Yes. Well, and I love when I hear of women who join the Women's Real Estate Investors Network who tried it once, it didn't work out, but they get up and they try it again. And they say, now I'm going to do it with the specialized knowledge that I can gain from investing in myself and joining this network of other women. And if she can do it, I can do it. But I love hearing when people have one of those, like they were the one-off, or they did a couple times and they lost their tail, but they're willing to learn what they need to know in order to do it profitably in the future.
Mm-hmm. Yes, absolutely.
So tell us about what advice would you give someone, Marci, who is just getting started out as an investor?
Yep. So I wrote down so many things, but these were the things that I think are important, and even lessons that I've been learning like recently, that I think I could save people some time is, I would say, number one, do all the free things. So go to all the open houses. Okay. It does not matter if you cannot afford that house. Go to that house if it is in your neighborhood, because number one, the agent gets like more kudos the more people that come through. They do not, they're not saying how many people, whatever. So they want, believe me, they want you to come anyway, so they can report to the seller of how much foot traffic they had. And then you're getting to see, nice houses, terrible houses, the pricing, and you can watch it all. And then I would say, you should, so all the free things. So networking is free. Talking to neighbors, just letting everyone know what you're doing is really, really important. Then when you feel like you're ready to strike on one, write an offer on a great place, and then let us know, and we will help you figure out how to fund it. You do not have to have all the money in the bank and all the people that you're borrowing money from sitting there and ready to strike or whatever. I would say if it's a great deal, you get a lot of experience by writing offers and sometimes not having your offer accepted, but you learn so much by just doing that. And you learn what works, the next time. And then I would say that having multiple lenders. So if you do go into a deal that you're going to have funded, not by just all private money, I would say be talking to multiple lenders, like kind of that ABC thing. Like you're always closing with like a couple people that you're talking to, because right now the market's a little crazy. The lending market, we've seen a lot of changes in the last month. And I feel like I am watching people just get some lenders are dropping out maybe at the last minute, or changing their rules, changing their rates, all the things that are happening. And so as long as you have at least two that you're talking to a point, you're not going to take them all the way to close to the finish line, but as long as you have two that you're talking to, you'll be in good shape, just to really protect yourself from losing that deal because something happens with the lender. That's what I would.
Ooh, that is fantastic advice all the way around. Absolutely love it. The thing that just struck most with me is make the offer. Make the offer. So many people are afraid to make the offer, and especially because you keep hearing in the network that the money's going to be there. There's going to, somebody, that money, whether it's hard money or private money, is going to be there if it's a good deal. It's so hard for people to believe. So they will hesitate to make the offer because they're like, I don't have the money. But you don't have to have the money. You just have to know somebody that has the money. And Marci went out and found hard money lenders, and she went out and she found her own private money lenders is a lot of what she did. But that's also the beauty of the network. There are so many private money lenders right inside our network, so you don't even have to look very far.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I met so many this last week, and I'm talking to lots of them this week about deals that I'm working on. And so there are some amazing women in this group that are lending money. So everyone should know that. Yeah.
Yes.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
Well, Marci, tell us what has been the most rewarding part about being an investor for you?
The most rewarding, let's see. Well, I think just, I think I'm making my kids and my husband proud, which is really funny because when I was doing that, which is really awesome, not funny, but when I was doing the course in the beginning, my kids would walk by and be like, "Oh, mom's getting motivated again." So, and so they would tease me, and I'd say, "Hey, do you want to watch this with me?" And they'd say, "No, that's okay." I have 3 boys, and so they weren't interested in a bunch of women, talking, whatever. So now they have a joke where they say, "Mom got motivated." Mom got motivated, and it worked. So I think just my boys are really proud of me. All of my boys, my 4 boys, and then just being able to employ a lot of people on my job sites, and I've created an amazing team that I just love working with. I cannot wait to get to work. I can't wait for Mondays. I just love it. I love it. I love them. I'm so excited to be able to help them provide, for their lives. And then I've been doing a lot more charity again too. So being able to just give back to communities And even like, buying a roof for a friend of mine that really needed one, kind of in that construction side. So that's been the most rewarding.
Oh, I love it. I love it. And, one thing I think that we hear a lot of, Andrea, I think you hear this too, is the very first thing she said. So many times as women, we have gotten caught up in just being a wife and a mom, and we lose ourselves. And so as women begin to be successful at this, their husbands, their kids have this all new respect for them, and it's exciting. It's very fun, and it makes you come alive. And then, once you realize that you can do this, then you're like, oh, I could do that, and I could do this, and then there's just no stopping us.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, absolutely. And I think I told Andrea too that it's been kind of fun for me because of this kind of old boys network here in Orange County. I was talking to another developer friend of ours, a man, and it was last year, and I was saying, "Gosh, I feel a little like so confused about who am I? What do I do? Like I've got my real estate license, but I don't really do that for other people anymore, and I'm trying to, buying rentals and flips." And he just looked at me, he said, "You're a developer. You're just a developer." And I said, and then for a couple days, it was hard for me to like say that. But now let me tell you, everywhere I go all day long, I say, I'm a developer. I'm a developer. And it's like, it's so great. So anyone who's doing any construction in this program, just say you're a developer, because that's next level. And that is what we are doing. So that also makes me really proud of me and everyone else doing it in this network.
Yes.
Oh, I love that. And what you're speaking to is our identity. And when we first start in any new path or career, but I think especially as real estate investors, it's so important to step into that as your new identity. And to get rid of some of that head trash that tells you, well, I'm only this or I'm not that. So I remember I was backstage and you came over and grabbed me and you said, Andrea, you have to tell the women this. And so I'm so excited that you're the one telling them, because it's such a powerful identity to step into. And I love that it made you uncomfortable at first and now you claim it.
Oh yeah. Yeah.
That's
100%.
That's so powerful. Well, tell us. Oh, go ahead.
I've been doing this for 5 years, and to be honest, every single time the words come out of my own mouth, it's a little odd. When somebody says, "What do you do?" And I'm like, "Well, I'm a real estate investor." And I'm like, "Yeah, that is who I am." And so it is. It's just awesome, especially just when you came from the medical field, and it's just whatever your background is. I think it's just it's a very proud moment.
Yep.
Yeah. Tresa, one of my first jobs was in the medical industry. Like right out of high school, I got my CNA and I became a patient care tech. And Marci, you were talking about the old boys club, and that job prepared me so well to work in the old boys club, because all of my patients were heart patients and most of them were 50, 60, 70-year-old men. And for the entire rest of my career, that is who I've had to do business with. And so I always say that thing that I thought was just a blip on my resume or had nothing to do with my successful future and my career was actually the thing that prepared me best to be able to step into that role and be able to communicate effectively, because my job was walking heart patients down the halls and getting them to eat their food. And I was like, I've gotten pretty good at getting the old boys to do what I need them to do in order to so for their own good. And then for the rest of my career, I've been doing that same thing, trying to get the old boys do what I need them to do. And it's worked out pretty well. So Marci, tell us, what are you excited about working on next? What are your goals for the future?
So I, we were talking about goal setting, and I think it was Kelton, this last weekend, and he was saying how, writing out your goals as if they already happened is really important. So last year around this time, I wrote out my goals that I would have $10 million in real estate and I would make $1 million a year. So awesome. I think I'm right under, I'm at 13 million. and just over $1 million in income. So I think that but I would write it as if it already happened. And so the goal that I'm writing now is I own $100 million in real estate and I make $5 million a year. So
get it.
So we'll see how fast I can get there. I mean, who knows? Maybe it can go even faster. And I would like to learn more about multifamily, which I've not done yet. So that's my little goal and then my big goal.
Those are amazing. I love it. You're dreaming big.
Yes, dreaming big.
And you're being brave.
Yes, thank you. Grant Cardone says we need to 10x our goal, right?
That's
so
right.
I just 10x'd it.
That's
awesome.
right. Well, I wanted to say one more thing before we go is, first of all, just what a light you are to the entire network. I think you have inspired and you have shown women absolutely what is possible. And that's one of my favorite lines is, I just want to show you what's possible. And then once you know what's impossible, hey, it's up to you how much of it you want, or hey, you can walk away from it all, or you can go for it all. And you have definitely went for it all. And so just want to, again, say how proud I am of you.
Thank you. Well, I've said this before, but I would have never figured it out on my own. So I just want to thank you for doing this for us. And thank you, Andrea, for stepping into leading us along the way too, because you guys are just amazing. And I'm so excited for all the other things you're going to teach me this year. I know that this is a moving, growing thing that we're all doing together. So I'm really excited about the year ahead as well.
I love it. Marci, we like to ask our guests for 3 takeaways. And you've shared a lot of gold with us today. So we're going to ask for three little nuggets here at the end. So what 3 things would you advise an investor or entrepreneur who is looking to be brave and grow, or is perhaps feeling stuck where they are?
Okay. Well, I would say the daily writing of your goals. I started doing that last year, and I'm telling you, those goals just fall right off that list. If you write it out as if it already happened, I don't care if it's on a sticky note or if it's in a 3-ring binder that you buy at the grocery store. Just write it every day, like 5 things, 10 things, as if they already happened, and it works. It is magic. I would say that. I would say take massive action. That's just get up every day and just grind. Whether it's figure out listen to more books, read Tresa's book, listen to more books, listen to more podcasts, get out there to, just take a lot of action. Like I said, go to all the open houses, walk your neighborhoods, do all of that if you're really wanting to get started. And, gosh, I don't know. What's a third thing? Finish your coursework, finish all the courses. Finish the courses, because I've had about 200 ladies reach out to me. And so that's my first clarifying question is, have you finished your courses yet? Have you finished the whole, everything we're supposed to do? And so do that before you feel like, well, I can't start because I don't know what I'm doing. Well, if you've only done a quarter of the courses, then you just need to finish. You need to finish. So that's what I would say.
Love it.
Well, that's great advice. So thank you so much, Marci. You shared some incredible learnings for all of us today. So I just want to say, on behalf of Tresa Todd and the Women's Real Estate Investors Network, thank you for being here and sharing your wisdom. And I just want to encourage all of you out there listening, from me, Andrea Engstrom, and Tresa Todd, we want to encourage you to be brave and dream big.